Barca suffered a defeat against Real Sociedad last night, which was their second defeat in La Liga. Hansi Flick made two changes, replacing injured Lamine Yamal with Fermin Lopez, and Jared Martin with Bale. Lamine Yamal's absence was seen last night.
Yamal played a full 90 minutes in the last two games. Had he been rested or subbed off earlier in either match, this injury might have been avoided. Aside from Yamal's absence, this was our strongest available lineup, so Flick's choice of players was solid. However, the issue lies in their positioning.
Rafinha was deployed on the left and Fermin on the right. As Yamal was unavailable, Rafinha should have been the right wings. Even though he can't perform Yamal's roles, he still does them better than Fermin. This was one of the issues last night.
Let's look the game through tactical view. Real Sociedad varied their defensive approach, sometimes pressing high and at other times dropping back into a low or mid block. Their high press caused us significant issues in build-up play, particularly as they focused on pressing centrally.
They blocked passes from our center backs to our pivots Casado and De Jong. Flick's usual solution against this type of press is using line-breaking passes directly to Louis, who drops deep to pull a CB out of position and create space for runners like Rafa and Fermin. Was unsuccessful here.
Sociedad's center-back stayed disciplined, refusing to follow Lewandowski and leaving no exploitable space for our runners. So when Lewandowski had the ball, there was no one making the run, and him dropping deep didn't benefit the team in anything.
Even after Olmo came on, we failed to adapt or introduce new ideas to break their press. Typically, our right side is more productive in build-up, with Count finding Yamal wide, who can hold off defenders, beat them, or create passing triangles with midfielders like Pedri, Casado, or Olmo. However, with Yamal absent, Count had no equivalent passing outlet.
Fermin occasionally offered himself as an option. He couldn't match Yamal's effectiveness under pressure. Rafinha on the right might have worked, while he doesn't replicate Yamal's wide threat, but he would have been more effective under pressure than Fermin.
Fermin on the right struggled a lot. Flick persisted with the setup until the 70th minute, when he subbed Fati to play on the left, and Rafinha, who was already tired, finally moved to the right and was still an improvement in build-up play compared to Fermin.
When we did progress or won possession for a counter, we created little. Attacks were often slowed down by players like Frenkie de Jong releasing the ball late, or by the general lack of creativity caused by Yamal's absence and Pedri and Rafinha's struggles to create even with space.
When Sociedad dropped into a deeper block, we struggled again to break down their compact defense. They closed all central gaps, without caring about wide areas, aware that we had no significant wide threat without Yamal.
Count was too isolated to create width on his own, while Bale, though able to beat his marker, failed to deliver effective crosses. Sociedad comfortably handled our narrow setup, even with our wingers moving centrally to support Pedri and create a line of three behind the striker.
Frenkie pushed up. We managed to open their defense, leading to our controversially disallowed goal. It's unclear why De Jong didn't attempt this more often.
Olmo's introduction in the second half improved our positioning and flexibility, as Pedri returned to his usual role and pushed up more, but this only worked briefly, mainly in the first 15 minutes of the second half, while Sociedad's forwards were fatigued, dropped their high press.
Throughout the game, there were no noteworthy passes or crosses into the box, which is a worrying sign. With players like Pedri, Olmo, and Rafinha, our chance creation shouldn't disappear just because Yamal is unavailable.
Barca's pressing structure was fairly effective in disrupting Sociedad's attempts to build from the back. We managed to limit their ability to play out comfortably, although, like any team, they won some aerials and second balls, which forced us to drop our press at times.
Sociedad, especially in the first half, didn't focus on attempting to beat the offside trap. Instead, they capitalized on their strong wide play, particularly through Kubo, who consistently challenged our defense by beating his marker, creating constant danger.
This approach was distinct from other teams we've faced, who typically attempt direct long balls to expose our high line. And what's more surprising is that even when Sociedad did try to beat the offside trap a few times in the second half, they succeed due to Count's lack of focus.
Sociedad frequently used counter-attacks to threaten us, taking advantage of the space left behind by Count. who was heavily involved in our offensive play down the right side. Also, unlike what we usually do this time, both of our fullbacks were highly attacking.
Both of our pivots had to stay back to cover, which opened up a significant gap in midfield, making it more difficult for us to counter-press effectively and allowing Sociedad to break out and hit us on the counter with relative ease.
Sociedad came well prepared, focusing on neutralizing our strengths and exploiting our vulnerabilities. The absence of Yamal simplified their task, but Flick's failure to adapt his system compounded the problem. He insisted on applying the same principles despite lacking the necessary profiles to execute them effectively, and despite clear signs during the match that his approach wasn't working. This ultimately hindered our performance and allowed them to control key aspects of the game.
Let's hope Hansi Flick learned something from this loss. Our clear goal got ruled out, but beside that we didn't do anything. It's time to move on and be back well prepared after international break. We cannot win every games. Lamine Yamal was hugely missed, and last game showed he is the soul of the team and how important he is for our team.
Thank you for watching the video until the end. Subscribe to our channel for more. See you in the next video.